Christopher Guest. Christopher Guest is truly a unique human being. He starred in multiple hit films and also directed a few of them. He's simply just a really outlandish dude who has a type of comedy that is very intelligent but also different from everybody else. Growing up, life was pretty unusual for Christopher. He was born on January 5th, 1948, and his father was a British diplomat. He lived in London in his childhood, and his father became a member of the House of Lords. Raised in London and going to school in Massachusetts, Christopher Guest started his learning focus in acting and producing, but mainly acting. And he starred in a couple films, starting off with the movie Moonchild, and a couple other ones like Spinal Tap. Christopher Guest went to the New York University of Acting, and that's where he started to learn what he liked to do. Christopher Guest has directed 7 mockumentary films, or I just should say films, but all of his films tend to have the theme of a mockumentary, documenting someone's life or someone's experience in a way that isn't truly sincere, but is more of a comedic stance. And most of his movies are done where every actor gets to make up a little bit of their own script or just improvise as they go, and it gives it a lot of realism and honestly a bit of awkwardness when it comes to a lot of the scenes, because it looks a lot like real life, and so it's interesting to watch. The first movie he ever produced was in 1999 called The Big Picture. In 2016, the last movie he produced, or has produced so far, was The Surviving Twin. His most popular films, Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman, are 2 that I've personally seen and really appreciate, and they I think they hold the kind of idea or vibe of a mockumentary the best, and they seem definitely the most interesting and the most unique. His type of comedy definitely is not for everyone. It's very cerebral, intelligent, but also different than most, and also can seem dry to some people or boring. But if you have a little bit of a big brain,
the prophecy is true,
then I think anyone can appreciate his types of comedy. His movies seem to move at a bit of a slower pace, but the storyline is definitely not like poorly written. It's still well done, but it's just done a different way. Since the main type of films that Christopher Guest likes to do are mockumentaries, they're based off of documentaries. Documentaries usually try and make life seem as realistic as possible. He does the same thing with his characters, the light, and the camera movements used. The camera movements tend to look natural and actually tend to look like someone who would be following or documenting someone else. It's not meant to be like any other movie where the camera would just be tracking in a cinematic way. The cameras are usually tracking and looking at the subject or what they're doing as if the subject is being recorded by someone in a documentary. And this makes it seem a lot more realistic because the lighting and everything isn't cinematic. The music, there usually is no music, and if there is, it's not cinematic. It's a part of the scene. And this makes it seem like you are watching a real documentary about someone, but it's just made to look that way, and it's just completely hilarious. Like I said before, most of the characters actually have to write a little bit of their own scripts or just completely go freestyle and improvise as they go. And this makes it seem like the characters within the movie are having real conversations that are being improvised just like any real conversation in a documentary. And since they are told, since it is given some structure, so it is more like a comedy movie. And actors that he likes to use in these movies are Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, and Parker Posey. And there's other people that are also used quite a bit in these movies, but those are the most famous out of all the cast. And they have something very unique that they can do. And they're all perfect for these roles because they have a similar comedy to the director. So they're able to improvise with a script that is kind of written by both the director, the screenplay, and also by the actors themselves. And this creates a very interesting blend of comedy and semi-realism in all of his movies that just make them so unique and so fun to watch. His movies can be slow, but this is part of the appeal of his movies, is they are meant to be like a real documentary, but having a little bit of comedy and a little bit of